Yes, awesome, awesome. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I've done quite a bit of work on the TAS Builder, and the main reason why is because we identified that there was a lot of issues with it. So it's had a major overhaul when it comes to the whole TAS Builder. So it's going to look very, very different. And there are more updates that are actually coming through now. So you'll also see some changes that will happen after today. So in particular is the naming convention along the top here of the different stages that we're building throughout. So you'll see that we've got a series of events that are going to happen when you are building your TAS. So, and it pulls in information from your training.gov.au. So if you're playing along, you'll move down to, you want to come down to training and assessment and TAS quality engine. So you want to click in down there, and then we're going to set up your TASs. So this is one of our existing clients that we're currently been working on, and we already have brought in their training products into ComplyHub already. So you can see that they're already coming through here. However, if you have not brought in your training products yet, you'll want to go to this button here, Fetch Training Products. So you'll go in there and you'll fetch those training products. And because I've already imported all of the qualifications, they're already here, but you might want to do a skill set or bring in units, in particular if you're delivering individual units. You don't need to bring these units in if you've got them in the qualification. It's only if you're going to be writing a TAS for an individual unit, so you won't need it for that one. Okay, so I've already got TASs already brought in. So I select which one I want to work on. So you can do select for a new one. And you see that we've changed some of the requirements in here. We've now got a delivery mode because you should write a TAS based on the different delivery modes that you have. So you shouldn't have one TAS that does online and classroom when they're two different delivery styles. However, if you have a combined, so you can do a combination. So if they are required to do some online and some face-to-face, then you would do the combination. So there's a couple of different options that you can do. It could be that it's work-based training. So that means that the students are working as well as doing the training. That doesn't mean they're doing work placement. That means that they're doing on the job, basically, doing it that way. Work placements, that's if the training product requires a work placement. So for example, if I go back to this one, this is an early childhood education and care. That one is, and I've already started drafting this one, that one is a work placement one. So I would then proceed with working with that training product. So once it's done that, we want to build the qualification context, which is that brings in the AQF information, and it also brings in the volume of learning requirements. So that gets pulled in from a couple of different areas. So the Australian Qualifications Framework, and it also gets pulled in from the companion guides as well. So I've linked this to companion guides as well within training.gov.au. Now you see this, I'll just show you this. This little thing here means that a new update has happened whilst you've been online. So if you see this, you should click on the refresh button and it will refresh the page. So it's a bit like doing a hard refresh up here. So you can also do a hard refresh there. But if that little pop-up comes up, that means I have you most probably working on ComplyHub whilst I'm working on ComplyHub and I've released a new version. So that's why that pops up. If you see that, you'll want to click on it to make sure that you've got the latest version of ComplyHub that comes up. Okay, so we've fetched our training products. This import TAS is not fully functioning at the moment, so you can't do this one yet. That'll be the next stage once I've got all of this work functioning properly. Once that's all completed, then you'll be able to import your TAS. So we've got the training product. We've brought in the information from AQF. Now we're going to move to the next stage. You'll see that I've changed this so that you can move freely between the different sections. It used to be blocked before, so it was blocked by you couldn't move to the next stage unless you completed the first stage. But I know when you're writing a TAS, you can be jumping all over the place. So you're not necessarily going to be doing it in order. You may do one section and then need to move forward so that you can then go back and do another section. Okay, so we've got here now the governance section. So we've chosen what our scope is. So this little button here, so this is one I've already been working on. You can validate against TGA to make sure that it is on your scope, it is current and it is valid. Then we can choose the funding model. So you might have fee for service and state funded. You might be doing both, or you might be doing state funded and apprenticeships. So you can change that around, or traineeships. So you can change the way how it's funded, how you're doing your training. If it is doing traineeships, I will update this. So if you do select this, this will automatically come up. So if you are, there is a pathway requirement that needs to be added within there as well. If you're working with a third party, so a third party is going to be delivering this on your behalf, then you would need to have this in place. And then, of course, you would need to have third party agreements in place as well. So we've completed this stage, and then we're going to move to the next phase, which is our market analysis. So what you'll see is you'll be able to now fetch labour market data. So this is a new thing that has been introduced. What I've done is I have added a new feature in here where it will go to industry councils. It will also go to scrape websites as well. It will look up information about different data that's available out there about the job market. So you can click on here, and what it will do is it will identify the market strength. Is there a shortage in this training product? Annual job openings, projected growth. What is the regional demand? So this one says it's national. And what is the what is the wage range from this? So it will, put the wages in there as well. So Erilyn's just said, I updated a TAS prior to the updates. TAS 330 traineeship draft TAS. Okay. I just did that, impressed. Okay, awesome. Okay, so you can fetch the labour market. So we've got that in place now as well. Now, the other one is we need to ensure that you have that this training product aligns with your business plan. Like ASQA actually expects to see a business plan as part of your ongoing commitment of what you're wanting to do, and it should align with your training products that you have on your scope as well. Eventually, what I will do is link this to your business plan and make sure that you've actually got that uploaded within your documents so that you can so that we can map it. We'll also have what I'm planning on before the end of the year is that you'll actually be able to build a business plan in here as well. We've got, so these are just questions that you're answering just to make sure that you've got everything in place. Once again, the qualified trainers are available. I'll link that to the trainers matrices. So at the moment, if you haven't got all your trainers matrices built, you're not going to be able to, if I had a block here, you're not going to be able to finish your TAS. So we need to make sure that we're working on our trainers matrices. So once we've clicked on all of those, then we can say, mark overall strategic alignment confirmed. So then this will turn green and we've got that all confirmed. Now, this is an area where we cannot move to, that's why I've moved this so that we can move freely along here, is because industry consultation is often one of the areas that people get stuck on. So until you've done industry consultation, you're not going to be able to complete your training and assessment strategy. So you can add it here. If you've got some industry consultation that you've got ready to go, you can add it manually here, or you can put it, because this will pull industry consultation out of the industry consultation register. So it will pull information out of there as well. Okay. So then we've got industry themes. You might want to put some other summaries in here. Once we've got your industry consultation in here, the AI will do a summary based on the consultation that you've got received. So it will summarise that and then place it into the TAS. Something else I'm doing, so it's saying competitor analysis. I'm actually automating this because all of this information is on training.gov.au. So it will pull how many competing RTOs are there in the same state that is delivering this training product, so that we can work out a competitor and saturation scan. So that will be added in there. And then once we've completed all of these, it will do a market viability rating. So I'd identify, so basically what we need to do is we need to add how many other RTOs are there, but you won't need to worry about this. I've put this in manually. You won't need to worry about it later because I am going to have that automated. I'm trying to automate as much as possible within the TAS and use as much as possible using AI as well as website scraping. It's now linked to, of course, it's linked to TGA, but it's also linked to Jobs and Skills Australia and NCVER data as well. So it can get information from out of NCVER. And then we can generate a strategic justification narrative based on all of the data. Now, we can't move to the next stage because there's no industry consultation here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click on the next stage so that you can move along in here. You'll see anything in green means it meets all the requirements, but anything in red means we haven't completed all those requirements yet. So now we're going down to learner cohorts. So this is where you can choose different learner cohorts in here. So who are your typical students that you have in place? So I'm going to say for this one, mature age, and we'll also say school leavers. What is their prior knowledge? So this is a certificate 3. So we would believe that the students wouldn't have any prior experience. You can also say where you're going to be delivering this. So is it metropolitan, regional, remote, or a mixed? Depending on if it's face-to-face, you're mostly going to have it in a certain area. What is the delivery mode? So we're going to be doing this in childcare in a classroom. What states are you delivering it in? So you can have more than one state if you wanted to add those in there. Then we've got the entry requirements. So learner must have a valid USI. That's a standard requirement for all students. Pre-training review must be completed prior to enrolment. Learner must demonstrate capacity to undertake training. So this is your pre-assessment to identify whether the student is suitable for the training, and then language literacy and numeracy. You can also add your own, but we've got the standard entry requirements within there. Then screening and suitability controls. So what have you got in place in order to identify that the training is suitable for the student? So we're going to do an LLN assessment. We're also going to do a it might be a written application that you're doing, or actually I might even add a couple other things in here because another thing that would be suitable is an information session. So you might hold an online or face-to-face information session where we've got to identify whether they're suitable. We've also got suitability checklists that you can use, so you could have that in place there. With this one, so the AI will actually identify whether there's a licensing requirement. So if it did have a licensing requirement, it would override here. You could override it as well and say whether there is a licensing requirement. This is childcare, so there's no licensing requirement. But if it was something like RSA, where there is a licensing requirement following completion, then it will put all the rules in here about RSA, and it will map it to the states. So whatever states you've put in. So if you were doing RSA, it would say that there are licensing requirements. It will scrape the internet to find out what those licensing requirements are in each of the states that you have selected. Then we can have a look at what is the risk rating here. So one thing that we need to put in place is that you have an LLN support strategy. So what is that strategy going to be? So some of the things that I want to add in here, so we've got it as a form at the moment, but as I said, I'm trying to automate this as much as possible. We will have an AI writer in here, just a bit like ChatGPT, where you can just put some points in here and then it will rewrite it so that it is an LLN support strategy. Same with referral pathways. So you can put these in place for what you have in place, and then any adjustments that you may need to make for LLN. The next stage is delivery model. So cohort and delivery mode are compatible based on current selections. Entry integrity rating, so we can do an integrity rating. Rating blocks phase 3 completion, resolve all the fields. So we need to actually get all of the fields above completed before we can move to the next stage within there. So hopefully you're following along with this. Have we got any questions so far with what we're doing with these phases? And I've renamed it to phasing because I thought it might make it easier for you to understand where you're moving back and forth. No questions so far? Okay. All right, so I'll move on. So we've now done phase 1, 2, 3. This one is going to be called phase 4. So you will see some renaming in here. So this has just been because if you were in the TAS Builder prior to today, you would have seen that we had a different structure. So we didn't have these phases. That's what we've changed. Where is this resolve? Apprentices selected without workplace path. I don't know what that means. You might need to do a screenshot for that so that I can see what you mean there. Okay, so then we go to unit selection. So it will, the AI will automatically choose the core. So it's identified there are 15 core units. It will automatically select those 15 core, and then you are required to choose the electives. So you'll go in and then choose the electives. So that one's quite easy. I'll just pull that data in. If you do need to bring external electives, so we've already got 2, so that's grayed out, but you'll be able to add external only if the training product allows you to bring in a external elective. So that will be one of the requirements there. Then it will do, the AI will identify the unit intelligence, so and do a complexity score. So basically what it will do is so I hadn't done this, I'd already done this in this one, so I'm now refreshing the benchmarks. So what it will do, I've linked this to NCVER and TGA. So you'll see this up here. You'll see through the different stages what I've linked it to, so that you can see the logic of where it's coming from. So it's linked to NCVR and TGA. So what it's done now is it will go through and identify what are the units. Were there any prerequisites that are required? What's the average? The confidence of the AI is 90%. And what is the complexity of that unit? So it's gone through each of the units, and it's done it's identified what the nominal hours. So we use nominal hours from NCVER as a benchmark. It's not set in concrete. It's not you have to use the nominal hours, but we use it as a benchmark. And in particular, if you're doing government funding, you're going to need to use the nominal hours as well. So if it's government funding, you want to follow the nominal hours. However, we use it as a benchmark. So that gives you a starting place, in particular if you don't know how many hours you should be doing for each of the units. So that's where we've pulled those in. So you'll see there's nominal hours in here. We've also given an average complexity rating. So it's got a complexity rating score in there. This is the AI confidence that is here. Any flags, so it's saying in here that there is no companion manual. However, I do know there is, so we will need to get that one fixed, because there is a companion manual for that one. So what I've done is it will identify whether there's a companion manual, and then from that companion manual, it will scrape information from there to make sure that this is your TAS is going to meet the companion manual requirements as well. So it will pull that information out as well. And it should also have these links in here as well. So it will pull lots of information that is already available out there on the internet. And we're just making it easier with the AI scraping it for you, so that you don't have to then go and scrape it yourself and then pull it in. So it's pulled all that information as well. AI doesn't seem to detect the elective selections. Is that prior to today? Because a lot of things have changed prior to when I just logged in today. So just now. Okay. Okay, so just put that in as an error. You'll see on the suggestions box, I've now changed the suggestions, so you can actually say whether it's something that's broken, is it a feature request, is it the way it looks, or you've got a suggestion on how it flows, like the layout. Do you just have a question or something else? So if it's something broken, you're just going to click on that, give it a brief title. What are you trying to do? So we found when we were trying to triage the suggestions box, we couldn't identify exactly what was going on. So now we've got some questions there to help us out. So what were you trying to do? What happened instead? Did you see an error message? Is it affecting you or multiple users? Is it just you or multiple? Give us some additional context of what you're doing. Screenshots always help. If you can add screenshots, that would be fantastic. I might change this, because at the moment it says only one file, and I did have someone put in a suggestion and they said they could only upload one screenshot. So I'll change this to multiple, so that we can do multiple screenshots that can go up in here. So this is really going to help us to be able to triage properly what are some of the issues that you have. I've also built AI into this as well. So if it's a question that you've asked, the AI will be able to answer you as well. If it's an error, we're going to need to go through and fix the error. However, I've also used AI intelligence to identify if it can fix things itself. So it's pretty good and that's just a new release that's now doing. So I'm trying to use as much AI as possible throughout this whole process, so that it can identify, so it make life easy for you. That's what I'm trying to do. I've actually got a motto now: how can I make compliance simple? So, so everything I'm doing within ComplyHub is all about making compliance simple for you and using as much automation as possible. So we've got that rating. Then we can also calculate the unit weights. So, yep, we've got a unit complexity must be generated first. So I did do, I did do that. I don't know why it's doing that one. I'll just refresh that. Okay. Okay. Is that the unit issue that you're having there, Erilyn? That the unit wasn't uploading? Okay. So, so then we should be able to calculate the unit weights. So, so obviously that's not working at the moment. So, because I don't know where the complexity, because it's already got the complexity here. I've already got the complexity. So anyway, I'll work out why that's blocking that. Then we can generate a unit rationale. So this is where the unit rationale is why did you choose those electives? Now, what I've got it to do is it will pull information from anything that might be in your documents library. So the more documents that you put in there, the better, because all of the AI within the system will be able to learn more about you and your organisation by what you have within your documents register. So if you've got documents in the documents register, such as marketing materials, so you might have a course flyer in there or a prospectus or any sort of marketing material, it will be able to read that. It will also read your policies and procedures. So whatever policies and procedures you have in here, it will read those and refer to those when building the TASs or any other thing that it's doing within the system. So it's got this intelligence in there now where it can read all of your policies, procedures, documents that are within the documents register. However, they need to be published. So they can't be in draft, they need to be published. So you should be going through your documents and making sure that you're reviewing them all and then approving them and then publish them. So once they're published, the AI will be able to read those documents and pull it into different areas. Unit analysis, unit intelligence is not able to be done. Okay, all right. Okay, so we go back to units. So yes, so the more information that you have within the system, the more it will be able to read that information and then pull it into a variety of different areas. So I'm doing this on purpose because that's how I want you to use this. I want you to have your documents in there. So the more it can learn about you, the more it will be able to improve your processes. So instead of someone manually having to go look up the policy and procedure or the documents, it's going to go, oh, you've got this document in here. You've got a suitability assessment. You've got an LLN assessment in the system already. So it will be able to read that and then incorporate that into your TAS. Okay, so we've gone through the units, identify the rationale. Once again, we've got the licensing requirements as well. So this seems to have been replicated, so we might have to skip that one. Okay, so I've now done a whole heap because I know that industry consultation is one of the biggest areas. So, oh, that's what I did here. So you've got your market plan in here, so you can find out more about the market without having to manually go do it. So you can pull in more information there. We've got learners. Okay, so then we've got the amount of training. So the amount of training is where it's one area that we've identified that ASQA will really focus on. It will do a massive focus on the amount of training. So they were focused on volume of learning, but now it's more focused on amount of training. And why this is that what was found that is that a lot of students didn't have enough time to apply the skills that they had learned. So they want to see how much time are you giving the students to learn the skill and apply the skill. So we can generate a amount of training. And what this will do is it will identify the AQF requirement for a Certificate 3 is 1,200 to 2,400 hours. It's broken down here, what the total hours here. It's saying here that this is minus, so it's below average. This is also going to help you with your rationale around the selection of the units. So what it will do is it will take each unit, give it base hours. It can adjust those hours. It will also identify what should be face-to-face, what should be self-paced, what should be assessment, how much time should be in assessment, and how much time should be in work placement. So I know there are work placement requirements for these units, so I will check these to make sure that it is actually selecting the work placements requirements, because that's within the training package. It is within the unit, but it's also within the companion guides. So we can also then generate an amount of training determination based on, have we got a sufficient amount of training, and then generate a volume of learning and amount of training justification as well. So as you can see, I've got a few errors that are coming up. So I'm taking screenshots as I go to make sure that we get these fixed. And then we can validate the alignment with the student as well. So we can go through those. So I'll work on those areas to make sure that we've got all of those functioning. Then we've got to identify what is going to be our delivery. So what it will do is it will pull information from the trainers matrix and validate their currency in the industry, as well as their have they also got the relevant skills and knowledge. So in order to be able to complete the TAS, you will need to make sure that you complete the trainers matrices as well. So one of the first areas I do recommend that you do is you should start work on all of your trainers matrices. So it's what we're doing is we're identifying the trainers, that we've got their credentials, that they've got, we've mapped their units as well. So what units are they going to be delivering? We can pull units from the training products as well. And what we can do here, we've already mapped all of these, but you can select all. And then if they're going to be delivering all of the units, you can select all. And then we can identify whether they can deliver and assess those units of competencies. So we want to make sure that we've got all of the units that they're going to be doing. And then we can also do identify their currency. So what is their currency? That will need to be verified as well. Any PD that you've done. So you can do your vet PD and your industry PD in here, and you want evidence. And I know, Erilyn, you said that you couldn't go back in time. That's been fixed. So you should be able to go back in time with the record. So you can predate things. And we can also do a plan, so a PD plan. But we need to get all of that other data in there first before we can do the PD plan. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the TAS Builder. So that's where we can identify, build a delivery pack. So we can identify what trainers do we have that covers those units. So we can identify who has those units. Then we can also identify if there's been any validation done. If there has been any validation, that will then be incorporated into the TAS. So any validation that has been completed will be updated in here. So if you've already done some validation that was done last year, maybe before you started using ComplyHub, you can add them manually and then that will get pulled in. So you can go into the assessment validation schedule or the validation plan there, and you can add some validation in there. So what validation have you undertaken? You've got your schedule as well, but you can go through and identify what you have already validated. Okay, so we've got the validation. So this one's saying that we haven't got, we've got 9 trainers, but none of them actually hold the qualifications that we require. So you can choose a trainer. You can also choose backup trainers. If you, so this is where, so if you came to my training and assessment strategy training yesterday, this is where we can identify that we've got sufficient trainers to be able to cover if someone's off sick or you have a trainer leave, can we get someone to replace them within that training? So it's capacity. So then we can say who's the lead and who's the backup. We can also integrate the matrix into the TAS as well. And then we've got all of our trainers in there. So they've all been listed within there as well. Then we're going to identify what is going to be our assessment strategy and validation. So what type of assessments are we going to be conducting? So it will have in here what are the typical types of assessment. So you can turn these on and off. So if you want for all units or some of the units, so it might be you're doing an oral assessment just for these certain units. So you can choose what units it is. If you have a written assessment for all, you can just leave it as all. Practical demonstration is most probably only going to be for certain units. So you can choose those certain units. So this is basically your assessment mapping. So if you have purchased assessment tools and you've got a mapping tool, assessment mapping tool that comes with it, you'll be able to use that to choose these. So if you've got that mapping tool, we can do that through here. So this is really how we're going to identify how we're going to conduct the assessment, and everything we put in here, it's going to make it a better TAS. So the more information you put in, the better. And we want to identify what are those assessment methods going to be. Then a session plan generator. So we can create a session plan for once we've got all of the units in there mapped, we'll be able to create session plans. So you'll be able to say, what type of session plan do we want to do? Is it an interactive workshop? Is it blended learning? Is it competency focused, online learning, workplace training? So you could do a couple of different ones. So you could do interactive, and then it might also be you doing a workshop as well as workplace training as well. So I will change this so that you can select more than one, because there is often more than one that you can do. And then we can generate plans based on that. Okay, so that is the delivery mode. Now, some of the things that I will also be incorporating into this is you'll be able to add evidence that will be able to go in here. And what I want to do is that you can upload so you upload all your assessment tools, training and assessment tools, into the documents register. And once you've done that, it will be able to pull that information out from the documents register as your training products. So the more documents you add in there, the better. So if you can upload all of your assessment tools into the documents register, and that's where your trainers should be able to access those documents as well. And you will also be able to have within the student portal, the students will be able to access the training materials from there as well. So once you've uploaded uploaded them and you've stated who can get access to them, when they go into their portal, they'll be able to access those documents. So the more, as I said, the more data that you put in here, the better. So you also want to ensure that you've got your assessment tools that are uploaded into the documents register, as well as your training materials. And then I'll get AI to scrape that to identify what are your assessment methods. So instead of having to choose your assessment methods, like what we just did earlier, so where did I do that? Yeah, so that was there. So instead of having to choose, it will pull that data out, so from your assessment materials. So I think that was further down. You're going to see that the menu is going to change and make this a lot more easy to follow. So it will be able to go, okay, you've already got documents, you've already got your assessment tools within the documents register, and it will be able to map these for you. So it can pull that in. We can also see the validation schedule. So once you've completed the assessment validation schedule within here, it will pull it into the validation section. Get back down the bottom. So it will pull all of that information in. So once you've created it, it'll pull that in. Then you can create your support, so your session plans. So it will generate those. It will generate them as Word documents, and then you'll be able to open those Word documents and edit those session plans. So I'll just show you what one looks like. So here's an example of what the session plan would look like. I'll just see if I can make that bigger for you. And the more I play with this, the better it's going to get. So I'm still working to finesse all of these. So any suggestions you have, please put it into the, oh, good. See, so you see RJ just did an update. See, new version available, refresh. So the little pop-up, when you see that, maybe I might make a ding noise as well. RJ, can you make it to do a ding noise so that we can hear if there's been a change? Okay, so it will map whatever you've put into the system. So yeah, let's do that. Awesome. It will, whatever you put into the system, it will pull it out and put it into a session plan. So this is just a summary. It will break down the hours, the sessions, and what is your delivery mode. It will then also break it down into a proper session plan. So put a schedule in, assessment integration, the required resources that are required, and then it's breaking it down by unit. So it's got what is a core, and it will also put in what are the electives. So once again, I'm just trying to make it as automated as possible. So hopefully those headings, yes, the headings are now working properly. So you'll see here now the headings have changed. So we've got phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. That's that delivery architecture. So you'll see phase 4. Oh, sorry, yeah, not shown. Thanks, Chris. So yeah, so we've got phase 1, 2, 3, and phase 4, because I was fully built out to 3, but hadn't got built out to 4 yet. So with 4, it's got the amount of training, so you can recalculate that. Volume of learning, your delivery readiness in there as well. And it will pull in your trainer's matrix details as well. And then we've got, and there is a couple more phases that is going to be coming in as well. So we've got phase 5, which is the industry validation. That's going to pull from your industry consultation. And then the final bit is, once you've got all of your information in there, we can do a heat map of where are you at getting this all completed. So have we got all of the stages completed? Have we got evidence to support it? I don't know what freshness is, but is it aligned, completeness and consistency? So it gives you a status of where you're up to. And you can also do extract summary themes. So complete. It won't do it yet because I haven't actually completed all the sections, but it will do a summary. And then the thing that's really good, so I'm going to start having a play with more of these, is at the end, it will generate your executive summary for you. So for any of our superhero clients, you would know that we have an executive summary within our TAS template. We've got a model for how to do that. I've used that model in here. So what it will do is pull all the information that's within the system and then generate an executive summary based on what's in there. It will also go to your website. So any information that you have on your website, it will scrape information from there. So information such as who you are, about us, so your about us page, what other training products do you have on your scope, who are you targeting, which is on your website. So it will pull all sorts of information that on your website as well. So you want to make sure you've got your website optimized as well, with lots of information in there, in particular about you and about your organization, so that it can pull that information in. It will also pull information from your documents, your policies and procedures as well. So you'll have a really good executive summary of the training and assessment that you're going to deliver, and why you and how you're going to deliver it. Then we can do a quality assurance of it. So we can do a quality assurance scan, and then finalize doing a compiling your TAS. And then the last stage will be you'll be able to generate the documents and then download those documents. So I had a few issues this morning trying to get all of these completed. So we were still doing stuff when you guys came on board today, but you can see that we're a lot further along when it comes to the training and assessment strategy. And there's a lot more that we're going to be adding to this as well. So bear with us. We are getting there where you'll be able to get a lot more information into here, and you'll see these different phases that have been set up as well. There is a couple more phases that need to go into this as well. Then you'll be able to build a timetable. So once we've got all of that TAS in there, you'll be able to generate a timetable. We're also, you're going to be able to build a delivery and assessment plan. That's coming up soon. We'll also be able to run checks on whether we have sufficient information in there. You'll be able to review the TAS. It hasn't been finished yet, so it won't be able to build it, and then monitor and improve. So that will be your ongoing monitoring and improvement of the TAS, because once you've built it, it will just keep pulling information. So it will no longer be a TAS that you have to update regularly, because the AI will do it for you. It will go pull information out from, if someone completes an industry consultation, it will pull that information into the new TAS. So it will be a living, breathing TAS that will be updated with real-time data as you update everything within the system. So any questions, suggestions, chatter about the TAS Builder? And as you can see, I've still got a bit more work to do it. I will continue on it today. But what's your thoughts so far? Chris has got so good, awesome. As I said, I'm focused on how can I make compliance simple? How can I use the AI as much as possible so that you don't have to do the work? The AI is doing the heavy lifting for you. So that's my focus on working on there. Now, we also, if you don't have any questions about the TAS, I'll still let you pop those in, but I've actually done a couple of new other features as well. So I wanted to share those with you as well. So some people had seen there were some issues where you're impersonating someone else. That's this feature here. So it's where you can see what it looks like from like your student support officer or from a trainer's view. So we've now got, so I'm going to choose a student support officer. where you can impersonate as, yeah, I know. We'll get there, Erilyn. We'll get there with the TAS. I feel you. I'm exactly the same. Okay, so what I've done now is we now have a student support officer portal. So you'll see that we've got this portal where, and you can see what it looks like. So you can see what it would look like for the student support officer. So basically, we've got a dashboard, and on the dashboard, they can log support cases, log an at-risk flag, wellbeing scan, create an adjustment plan. I'm going to change this so all the buttons are the same size instead of different sizes, but log a complaint, LLND assessment, record D&I, so diversity and inclusion note. So they can just click on that and fill in a form. So they can put in the student, they can put what type of support it was, they can also say what the risk was, and then they can save that support case. Same with a student that's at risk, they can identify those. Wellbeing scan, and create an adjustment plan within here as well. So they'll be able to add those in there. Now, what will happen when they log any of these, they will go drop down into the registers. So in the back end, they will all go down to the registers. But the other thing that it will do is when they go, so I've now got the monthly report happening. So if you've got anybody who is a student support officer user, they'll get access to this page or this portal, and they'll get reminders to submit a monthly report. So they can do a monthly report. And what I'm doing is with the monthly report, it will pull data from any student support services that they've done, any, so we're going to do a refresh there. It's still loading, because what it's doing is the AI is now reading the registers to see if there's any updates within the registers. So if there's any student support that was identified, if there was any language literacy and numeracy assessments, there's all sorts of things that it will pull out, and it will pull it into the monthly report. So I've made it easier. So the student support officer doesn't have to actually fill in a form. They've just got to review the form. So it will pull the data from the registers that where they've submitted any data, and then create a report, and then they can submit the report, and it will drop down to the governance meeting. So they'll be able to, so then when we hold the governance meeting, we'll already have the student support officer report in there as well. So it's taking its time here, but it should load a report. Let's see if I can go back to reports register. No, I'll see what's happening with that report, make sure that it's actually working. Then, so my impersonation mode is not actually working, so we'll find out what's going on there because it's not letting me go back. Okay, no, one more. Okay, so so I just had the view of a student support officer. Now let's have a look at a trainer. So you'll be able to see the trainer's dashboard, but however, you'll also be able to see, so when the trainer goes in, so we've got the trainer's dashboard. I've tried to make this as easy as possible as well. So they've got a monthly report, so they'll get reminders. So they get a 7-day, 3-day, and 1-day reminder. They don't get follow-up reminders if they've already submitted though. So so they'll be able to submit their reports. I'm also working on getting this integrated with student management systems. So I've already started the first stage so that it can start integrating. so it will be able to pull information from your student management system. We're also working, RJ, our software developer, is currently working on a student management system as well, which we're hoping to have fully launched by mid-year. So that's our aim, is that we'll be able to launch that. So if anybody's wanting to integrate a student management system into this, we're also going to be working on that. So that you can integrate that with this. So I've just started getting it to think about the future of how we can integrate with student management system. Okay, so the trainer will then be able to set up schedules in here, so they can have a training schedule. This one at the moment has, it's got the main calendar that the whole RTO has access to. So this is the main calendar, but in future they'll be able to build their system in there as well. Then we've got our monthly reports, and I don't know why that page isn't working. And we'll also have a student monthly, student progress as well. They'll also, you'll see there's a few new features that are going to be coming. They can do validation, but there will be, this is where I'm going to be integrating it with your student management system, is the assessment task. So, and once again, it will be able to pull the assessments from out of your documents register. So you can then say what trainers can get access to, and they'll be able to see those assessment tasks. So we've got, they can have a look at the assessment validation schedule. So if you've got one in place, they can see the schedule, but they can only view it. They can't do anything else with it. We're also going to have that RPL process that they'll be able to do in there as well. The trainer will be able to build their own trainers matrix within here. So they'll be able to go through and build their trainers matrix. So they'll be able to add the units. They'll be able to use matrix templates and also what are the units. But you'll need to make sure that you've actually started their trainers matrix. So you've got them set up as a trainer as well. They'll also be able to add their PD into here, so they can do PD, industry professional development, any compliance training they did. If they went to a workshop, conference or mentoring, they'll be able to add that in, how many hours that they've done. So you won't need to do it, the trainer can do it, so they can pop it in here. They'll also be able to upload any certificates that they have as well. And this is where you'll be able to give them access to training resources. So you can see this comes from the documents register. So this is where the documents will be the trainers will be able to access the documents, and this is where you say who can get access to what. So what is it that they'll be able to get access to? So the other thing, I don't know why this monthly report's not working, because I was only working on this the other day, but the monthly report will also be where the trainers will be able to do an update of what's happened in the last month, things such as, and it will also pull data from registers as well as assessment tools. So I'm trying to, once again, get it to use as much AI as possible, where it can pull information that's already within the system. So we've got that for the trainers, then also student support. So they'll have access to complaints and appeals as well. And then you might want to put some other tools and resources in. So I'd love to get your feedback on what you think of the new system. I've also made it easy for them to be able to add PD, so some quick actions up here. I will be refining this and finessing this a bit more, in particular, getting all those fields to work as well. So that's a couple of new features that we have in place now. So you'll be able to view your different users that you have, so that you can see what the trainers are going to see, and you'll be able to see what the student support officer will be able to see as well. I was starting to build more on that, and then got back to the TAS. So I was doing more within the TAS. Why are we not refreshing there? I'll just refresh that page. Okay, any other questions about where we're at right now? It's not taking me back for some reason. I'm in the TAS Builder, but it's not taking me back. Okay, well, that's all the updates. Oh, the other thing that I wanted to show you, if it will let me, I'll just stop sharing for a sec and log out and log back in again. Awesome, awesome. Okay. No, it's not going to let me log in now. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to show you that is not coming up on here at the moment is when you go onto the dashboard, you're going to see updates on there. So there's a little flag up there that says that will say what are the latest updates. So you'll be able to see what updates I have made in the system, such as the AI build and any other updates that may come up. So so that's a nice, easy way. So it's basically a update log, and you'll actually be able to see all of the updates that I have done. So once I've done some major before I do a release, I'm going to have an update on the dashboard as well. So you'll be able to see those. Okay, so that's it from me today. Please use that suggestions tab if you've got any suggestions. I'd love to see them in there, any errors, and thank you for your patience with us whilst we're trying to get all of these things working, functioning properly. As I said, I keep coming up with new ideas and new things to do, and so I do sometimes get distracted, but the TAS Builder is one of the big things that I just wanted to automate as much as possible to make your lives easier. So hopefully you are enjoying those. Okay, so that's it from me. So unless you've got any other questions, thank you very much for joining me today. I am going to be eventually setting up a regular schedule for training. It most probably will be once a month because it's about once a month when we have these major updates. So we will be also recording them. So all of the recordings are going to be available within ComplyHub. So you will be able to access those in the future as well. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for attending today's session, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon. Have a great weekend.